Once upon a time, in a land untouched by the noise of the world, there was a forest. A forest so beautiful that it seemed like a piece of paradise itself. The tall trees stood like guardians of the earth, their green leaves dancing in the wind. Colorful birds filled the air with music. Deer leapt joyfully across the meadows. Rabbits, foxes, squirrels, and countless other creatures lived together in peace. For the animals of this forest, every sunrise was a promise of happiness. Every sunset was a moment of rest under a sky full of stars. This was not just a forest, it was a home, a family. But one day, everything changed. From deep within the trees, smoke began to rise. At first, it was just a faint line in the sky, but soon the air grew heavy and a terrible fire roared to life. The flames spread faster than the wind. Golden sparks leapt from branch to branch, swallowing the forest in a sea of red and orange. Birds shrieked in panic. Deer ran blindly in every direction. The ground crackled and the air burned with heat. The paradise had turned into a nightmare. From the nearby village, people saw the disaster. They rushed with buckets, wet cloths, and whatever they could carry. Men, women, even children ran towards the danger, desperate to save what they could. The animals scattered, each one thinking only of survival. But in the middle of all this chaos, high up in a tree, sat a little bird. She was small, no bigger than the palm of a hand. Her nest trembled from the heat, and fear shone in her tiny eyes. She could have flown away. She could have abandoned the forest, left her home to burn. But then something stirred in her heart. If I fly away now, my home will vanish. And not just mine, the homes of so many others. Maybe I cannot save the whole forest, but I must try. At least I must try. With that thought, the little bird spread her wings. She flew toward the river nearby, dipped her beak into the cool water, and carried back just a few drops. She flew straight into the fire and let those drops fall onto the flames. The fire hissed, but it was far too strong. One beak of water did nothing. But the little bird didn't stop. Again she flew to the river. Again she carried drops of water. Again she flew back into the storm of fire. Back and forth she went. Her wings grew tired, her tiny body ached, but her spirit remained unshaken. On a nearby branch, an old owl was watching. He shook his head and laughed. "What a fool you are, little one. Do you really believe your tiny beak of water can defeat this raging fire? Look around you. The forest is burning. The flames are too strong. Why waste your time? Save yourself while you can." The bird paused. Her wings were trembling. Her chest rose and fell quickly. But then she looked up at the owl with calm, shining eyes. And she whispered, "I know I cannot put out the fire alone. But at least when this is over, I will know I tried. I will not sit with folded wings waiting for others to act. I will do my part, no matter how small." The owl had no answer, and in that moment, the little bird was no longer small. She was bigger than her fear, bigger than the flames. She was courage itself. Friends, this story carries a truth we all need to remember. Life is full of fires. Some are small, some are so large they seem impossible to fight. And often we stand like the owl, watching, doubting, saying, "What difference can I make? I am only one person." But here's the secret. Great change never begins with great power. It begins with one drop, one step, one act of courage. The little bird knew her drops of water might not save the forest, but she also knew that doing nothing would definitely save nothing. How many times in our own lives do we face fires? The fire of failure, the fire of fear, the fire of doubt. And just like that little bird, we have a choice. Do we run away or do we fight? One drop at a time. Maybe your dream feels too far away. Maybe your problems feel too heavy. Maybe your journey feels too long. But remember this. Every great success you see in this world began with one small step. So when life tests you, be like that little bird. Don't sit with folded hands. Don't wait for miracles. Rise, move, act. Even the smallest effort has meaning. Even the smallest drop can create ripples that reach far beyond what you imagine. And sometimes it is that one small drop that becomes the spark of change. So ask yourself today, are you watching the fire, or are you carrying your drops of water? If this story touched your heart, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs hope. And if you want more stories like this, stories of courage, wisdom, and timeless lessons, hit the like button. Subscribe to join this family of inspiration. Now it's your turn. Type in the comments, "I will keep trying." Let's see how many of us are ready to be like that little bird.